Cheryl, just anything that you can take from the last couple of years that you were defending champs that you apply to this one, or is this a whole new year and you attack it in different ways?
I hope so, John.
Yeah.
I hope that we've had 2 cracks at it unsuccessfully. I can tell you we learned something in every journey that we go through, but particularly in those years that we didn't have a chance to repeat. In 2012, being a heavy favorite, having a tremendous regular season and a heavy favorite as we moved into the playoffs and then into the finals. But as you can see, that's why they played the games, and Indiana was the better team in that series. And then after the 2013 championship, health was a little bit more of a factor for us there. But Phoenix was a really good team. Had a tremendous regular season, records set offensively with their efficiency, their field goal percentage, etc. And we weren't able to overcome kind of where our team was, both physically and then just the high level that Phoenix was playing at. So they were a very deserving champion. But in those 2 seasons, I think you see the acquisitions that we made in preparation for, I think, being able to manage things a little better. This is the year that we have got to get the miles down because it is such a long summer. I think I said to Renee when we were recruiting her in free agency this offseason that, we've yet to repeat. And, I said, it kind of stinks that, each time we try to repeat, there's, Olympic year or World Championships. And she started laughing like really loud. And I thought, what the heck was so funny about that? And she said, Coach, those are like first world problems. So I said, okay, I understand, but that's the Lynx. That's kind of our situation we've been in. And it was a cool perspective to have for someone who hasn't been along the ride, and say, oh, poor you, Coach. You've had to try to repeat 3 times in an Olympic year or World Championship year. So keeping that in perspective, I'm not going to shy away from the idea that this group deserves to have on their resume, their legacy, that we were repeat champions. They deserve to have that. And so I'm not going to shy away from that publicly, and I won't shy away from that internally. And it's something that we're going to go after with everything that we have. And hopefully 3rd time's a charm.
In some ways, is that the last mountain to climb, almost? Or you guys have accomplished so much?
We have, but, I think especially, as you guys are around this group, that, like last season we won a championship, but we never became the team we wanted to become. And so I think this group is always going to be chasing what they feel is their very best. And I think if we ever hit that, then I think I would say that was kind of the last mountain to climb. So as long as that takes, whether it's, they put it all together this year and they go, Coach, we just can't do any more than what we've done. I'd be surprised because it's a very greedy group.
What was it like recruiting Renee? I mean, she said she almost went to New York.
Yeah, she did. It wasn't hard to recruit Renee in that we kind of have what we have. The finances. I think probably more so with Renee, it was opportunity to play. I think that, that Bill was offering a starting job. He was looking for a starting point guard, I think. And he wanted to move Tanisha Wright to more of the off guard. And so we had to combat that a little bit. I think our team was the big sell. Put me against Bill is probably a wash. And then I think our team, playing with this group is a lot of fun. And I appreciated the trust that Renee put in us to kind of move forward with her career here in Minnesota.
Is she a fun personality to add to the locker room? She seems so vibrant and things like that.
She's goofy. She's good for the locker room. I think we've been good for her to kind of bring her back a little bit to what I would describe as the UConn days, in that the focal point, when we're between the lines, that goofiness gets turned off, and your attention to detail gets turned up, and so I think we've kind of helped her get back to that. This group has, and so having both is important. It's really important, and I told Renee that we don't get to be WNBA champions without her play for us last season at a critical time when Lindsay was out, Simone was out, and then her and Anna kept us in that number 1 seed in the West, and then we get to the playoffs and we play LA, who was a big lineup, and Renee didn't play very much, and then I told her stay ready, When we get to Phoenix, I see more opportunities. I see more matchups. There were some concerns there too because they had some big guards. I did a little better in the Phoenix series, getting her out there. Said stay ready, hang in there, and then we get to the final series against Indiana, and she was big for us. And so what I appreciated about her, and I told her this, is that she could have easily said, each time, that I said hang in there, stay ready. Some players kind of go, yeah, right, coach, and they don't stay ready. And Renee absolutely stayed ready, not just when she was on the court, but in her communication as players came off the floor. Those are things that coaches hear. And so I knew that Renee was ready, so I had trust in when she performed and when Anna performed to be able to get players like Lindsay off the floor or Simone off the floor, whatever was needed in those situations.
Speaking of Renee, I think she's one of the few returning bench players that you have coming back this year. So what are the challenges with retooling kind of a reserve unit who stepped up for you last year?
Yeah, it's fun. I think it's there's a newness, there's a hunger about that second group because they haven't tasted it. Renee tasted it a little bit. She was only here for half a season. Her leadership in our camp has been tremendous. She's in charge of that second group, and like you said, it's new. And we've got players that have never been in a WNBA camp before. Gia's never been in our camp before. Howard's not been here before. So there's a lot of confusion, a little bit at times chaos that she has to try to perform herself, and then also keep what's going on with the others kind of in check. And she's done a really nice job of that. That's what I've been most impressed about. But retooling the second unit is something that had to happen. That's from a financial standpoint, salary cap implications. There are things that we had to make some choices. That being said, we made some choices, and then you don't expect a veteran with a big contract to be available on draft day the way that it happened. And so some of those things that we were looking to achieve, we reversed course a little bit, and we think we're really, really well positioned to have a really nice veteran group to make a really solid run here at this repeat.
Cheryl, what kind of buy-in Lindsay about the Olympic year and how physically it's kind of a strain for that month, but mentally as well? You're coaching out there. What kind of mental strain does that put on you for having to adjust?
I think just being mindful of their mental health. That's kind of probably more my strain. Every day I come in, whether we're in a repeat year or not, I'm always considering how are they feeling. Because how they feel kind of dictates how this is going to go, and so whether it's their bodies, whether it's a schedule, a stretch of a schedule, trying to be in tune, have a pulse on what's going on with that core group is imperative. And I think this year we have experience, as we talked about in the beginning here, that we've done this before, and my approach with this core group is it's all in how you look at it. You can look at it as really stressful and a strain mentally, or you can throw caution to the wind and say, what's the worst that can happen? The same thing happened the other couple of years that you didn't repeat. The same has happened to how many teams since 2000, 2001? What's the worst that can happen? So why is that stressful? Why is it this group deserves that? And so I think that's going to be the sales pitch, if you will.
How helpful is it that Lindsay took basically the winter season off that she comes here for?
I don't think that we can. I think you'll see Lindsay physically the value. So there's words that I can put on it, and then what you'll see visibly, I think, will tell you everything. It was incredibly unselfish of her to forego hundreds of thousands of dollars to not play, because she wants to be the best Lynx captain of a championship team, and she wants to be the best Olympian that she can be. And so she looked at it, and again has experience in it, and said, this is what needs to happen. And I have no doubt that the results will bear out exactly what she was after.
Cheryl, how different do you foresee it being this season in just managing minutes and trying to get these players through the grind of not only the season but the Olympics and everything else?
Well, it's not going to be difficult, and now I got plenty of good players. The difficulty for me has always been the incredible comfort level that I have with our core group. We saw it yesterday when we scrimmaged. I'm just somebody that we have high expectations. And when players don't give you the level of detail that is needed to win, you can't help but put the ones on the floor that know to get the win. And so as best as I can, as we can this year, we're going to do better in getting players off the floor. I think I can do that with the talent that we have for sure, but not sacrificing a W for it. And the new playoff format dictates
It's too important.
it's too important. It's too important. So, it's not a secret. Everybody wants to be in the top 2 spots. That wants to have a shot at winning a championship, and that's the most direct path, if you will. And so, we got to go for that. And then we'll see what happens during the season. That might dictate something different, but that's our goal.
How grateful are you to have Jim Pete back? I mean, he could have taken the UConn job, right?
Yeah. It was a fun off season, I think, in terms of watching Jim get the opportunity. It's about time. And Connecticut asked me, why hasn't anybody else, called Jim? And I said, you tell me why hasn't anybody else? All we've done is won championships and had the best record for however many years. You tell me. It's obvious what Jim Peterson's value to our team is. Why are you guys not calling? So this was his first opportunity. No question that Jim, is ready to be a head coach. And Jim will tell you this, and if you haven't already talked to him, Jim, like our star players, value this time here together here with the Lynx. He understands how special of a time it is in our franchise's history, and he's been such a big part of it, and he wants to see it all the way through. And I'm appreciative for that. Jim, when I first got him in 2010, has come a long, long way. Because frankly, in 2010, he was just more of a talking head TV guy. And it's very different coaching. And so now you have a guy. What I think it's just helped him be a tremendous analyst as well. He was good then, but I think he's great in both now. And I think both jobs have kind of allowed him to maximize his talents. And so, I lean on him heavily in our preparation for the season, in our opponent scouting. You see him in game, he's incredibly valuable, and I'm happy to see. I don't know if we had a release yet, but him being the associate head coach is something that's really deserving, and I'm really happy to have him back.
Is there anything coming with that title? Is there any added responsibility?
Yeah, I told him there'll be more speaking engagements. Anything I don't feel like doing is now going to fall on the shoulders of Jim Pete. I told him, just different things along. I want him to kind of feel as ready as possible when he does make a decision to take a job. And that requires putting you in a little more uncomfortable situations that require more thinking, that require more, having a pulse on the team. It's being an assistant coach is easy, in that every day when you're with the players, you're the good guy. You don't have anything to say that's really, you can be the hype man, like Jim likes to say. And when you move over, it's very different. You have to make tough decisions. You got to make unpopular decisions. You got to stand in front of the media, and everything you say is going to be scrutinized. And so those are situations I want to put him in more of. And I think he's going to kick and scream most of the way. He enjoys being in front of the camera. That's not a problem. But you realize sometimes, you think my sound bites are long. Oh, holy cow. So.